Hey mate, today I want to talk about why people get injured and what's the biggest reason why people get injured in the first place. Let's discuss. Just think about that for a second. What's the biggest reason why people get injured in the first place? If you've got an answer, please write it down in the comments below, but I'll let you in on a little secret. It's impatience. Just think about that for a second. How many times have you pushed yourself beyond your limits just to keep up with the person next to you? How many times have you forced yourself or just pushed yourself so much just because you wanted to go that little bit further than you did last week and then come up worse for wear the next couple of days? How many times have you tried to lift that exact same weight that you did over a year ago that you're just simply not prepared for right now, just to please your ego or prove to yourself and others that you're just as good as you are now as you were a year or two ago, but then pulled up with a back issue or a sore shoulder the next day? If we were all just that little bit more patient with ourselves and our training, we'd know when to push and when to pull back with our training and focus less on where we were a year, 2 years, 5 years ago, or focus less on where we want to be 5 years from now and really focus on where we are right now. Here's the thing though, there's a very fine line of being too patient and then impatient. If we become overly patient, we don't get the gains we want. If we become too impatient, we race ahead and then we get injured along the way. The worst thing that we can do is probably get injured. That's going to set us back weeks and weeks. That's time that we can't get back. Whereas if we're overly patient, we could probably take a lot longer to get to a place, but it's going to be a safer climb to the mountain. But if we become overly too patient, we're never going to push the limits. We're never going to set those big goals, and we're never going to get gains, never going to get stronger, and we're just going to stay the same. And in the long run, what's going to happen is we're actually going to get weaker because the others around us are simply getting stronger. The thing is, it's a fine art. Okay, you got to know when to push, you got to know when to dial back, you got to know when to deload, you got to know when to overload. Okay, it's a fine art, because otherwise if everyone knew we could just push, everyone would get strength gains. I'd be able to put 10 kilos on the bar every week. The possibilities of benching 1,000,000 kilos would be endless if it was just a linear progression. But the thing is, the progressions don't go straight up like that. Maybe when you first start working out, but eventually start to hit those plateaus. Some of us have a bit of trouble with those plateaus. We think we get to those plateaus and all we need to do is just push more and more, whereas we probably need to go down a little bit just to have a bit of rest, recuperate. So when we go down, it gives us room to go back up. The answer isn't always just to do more, because the more and more and more you do, the more energy that's going to take out of you. So the thing is, if you keep thinking that more is basically the thing that's going to fix you and help you get over the injury or help you hit your goals, you'll soon find out that that does lead to burnout, it does lead to drain, and it does lead to more potential for injury. We want to make sure we're not progressing just at all costs. So that means putting your health first and then your progress second, okay? So you don't want to put the progress above your health, because if you try to progress way too hard or way too much and your health suffers, you're going to lose that progress anyway. So what you need to do is make sure that you're not jumping the gun or jumping ahead just because someone else is doing something better than you, or you just want to get ahead quicker for no apparent reason. You got to think about what is best for your body right there and then at the time. Okay, because if you're sacrificing your health for progress, you're going to be sacrificing progress in the long term. If we're impatient, we start to try hitting goals or attempting things in the gym that we're just simply not ready for. So that means, trying to hit a goal bench press of 90 instead of knowing that our 1RM is an 80. The best option is, rather than trying to jump to that 90, which you may or may not get, is actually be prudent. If your best 1RM is 80, maybe go for the 82.5, and that felt easy, go for the 85, okay? The more you stretch your body in these sort of situations, the more likelihood you're gonna come off second best, or you're going to get hurt, injured, or have a soreness that's going to last for the next week. Whereas if you're a bit more prudent, you're going to get those gains, maybe not as much as you want to, but you're still going to get that extra 10, 20% rather than jumping for that, those big percentage increases. These increases will come over time. Don't just try to lift these heavy things or make these big increases just to feed your ego. It doesn't end well, and it can lead to more injuries and issues. Instead, focus on how you're doing the reps. What's the quality of the 80 kilo bench press? Can you increase the quality of that rather than just increase the actual weight? There's lots of ways to improve, and it's not just the numbers and the amount of wheels on the bar. People who get injured or stay injured don't accept their current fitness level. So if you're at this level, that means that you're always constantly trying to compete with others who are at this level, or where you were maybe 1 year ago at this level, or where you want to be at this level. Whereas if you want to get that strong, consistent strength gains and fitness increase, you need to be going just above that level. If you overreach too highly, your body just simply isn't going to be ready, and it's just going to find it really hard to recover and slowly bump up to the level. Whereas we progressively bump up the level over time, your body has a chance to recover, recuperate, and get stronger as you progress through. The thing is, if you don't accept where you are right now, maybe you don't have the strength, maybe you don't have the flexibility, maybe you don't have the mobility to do a deep squat, and every time you just keep trying to go into that deep squat, your body's not going to like this. If you don't work on those things that are restricting you, they're always going to be a restriction. Okay, and you may put up the weight, but it's going to be at the compromise of your technique and how you're performing these movements. And this may, in the long term, actually make your mobility even worse, or maybe give you pain or increase your pain if you don't work on those little things that you necessarily don't want to work on. Instead, what you should do is work on the things that are holding you back with your gains. Okay, so the answer isn't always just trying to compete and trying to bump up that level. Maybe focusing on other little things. For instance, maybe just working on your hip flexibility, or your shoulder mobility is going to open up your body to more strength gains. My point is, just make sure you have to meet your body where it is right now, okay? If your body needs more mobility to go into that deep squat, if it needs more shoulder mobility, if you need to work on some more core stability in certain areas, make sure you focus on them. Just realize that those are the things that are holding you back, and it's not just doing more of what you've been doing before. By doing more reps, by doing more load, or more squats, or more difficult movements that you're just not ready for. You have to really look at yourself, see where you are now, and just be compassionate where your body has come from, and give it what it really needs, so that it will give you what you really want. Anyway, I hope this video helps you out. To sum this up, the 3 things that cause the most injuries for people is 1, progressing way too quickly and at all costs with their body. The second is attempting something that the body just isn't ready for. And the third is not meeting where your body is now and focusing way too much on where you want to be in the future and focusing on where it was in the past. If you avoid just 1 or 2 of these 3 things, you're going to be much less likely to get injured. I can guarantee that to you. If you liked all the great info that I've just spoken about today, please make sure to check out my 7 lifts to bulletproof your body after injury. I'll pop that down in the description box down below. Also, make sure to give me a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button down below so you can see more great content from myself. Anyway, my name's Adam and I help you return to the gym and stay there.